Hey, it's Jessica. Again, I'm so excited to have you guys here, but I am also super excited to introduce you to Taylor Miller. This is my guy. He's my preferred lender, so I'm excited for you guys to meet him today. He really knows what he's talking about when it comes to lending, and I'm excited because we get to ask him some questions. He's a broker as opposed to just a lender. I love that about you. Do you mind telling us a little bit about what the difference is between just a standard lender, which is good, right, and a broker? What's the difference?
So with lenders, they usually only have their programs that are available, and they will only have their rate of the day. Whereas with a broker, we have about 10 different lenders that we work with, so we have quite a few different programs that are available. We can shop for different rates at all the different lenders to see what makes sense for everybody's situation. So we try and get the best deal possible.
And that means too, you have relationships with those lenders as well, and they know that they're competing, which gives you a little bit of leverage, right? So you can help your clients get the best value out of their mortgage, right?
Exactly.
So that's one of the reasons when I was looking for a lender, I was like, I know I need to have a broker. But then I found Taylor, and he's not just a broker, but he's a stellar guy. He's a hard worker, so I am so grateful for that. Tell us, how long have you been in the business?
So I've been in the industry about 3 years now, and I actually started as an office manager for our brokerage when it opened, and it was just me and the owner. And since then, we've grown it to about 22 employees in the last 3 years. And I started as a loan officer, shortly after I was office manager, I graduated, and it's been great.
And I love that too, because you've got a whole team working with you. It's not just you that's doing it. You've got a support team that's behind you and helps you with the day-to-day.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, I'm curious, how did you get into the lending industry?
It's a good question. So I actually started with some financial planning and had my licenses to do that kind of work, and it just wasn't quite it for me. But I love numbers, I love working with people, and I love looking at people's finances as well. So I had the owner of the company I work for here, Utah Independent Mortgage, is Nelson Bars, and I knew him, and he was starting his brokerage and needed the office manager. So I just decided to move from financial planning to that, and I kind of just grew from there. So shortly after I was hired, I got licensed, and then I started bringing in some loans and could see that my mind actually worked really well with these things. So that's how I got into the business.
Okay, so kind of a little bit happenstance. Yeah. We actually hear that a lot. If you guys go back to some of the other videos, a lot of times people start in one industry, meet somebody, the right person, and it kind of leads them right into their niche. So that's exciting that you've got that, and you've figured it out at such a young age, right?
I'm a firm believer that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's how I've gone, or how my path has continued.
Yeah. Well, and who you know, but you also know your craft.
Yeah.
So that's we'll talk a little bit about that too, what it means to be a certified mortgage advisor as well. Tell me, what is your service area?
So I am licensed for the whole state of Utah, but we focus mostly from Salt Lake County to Box Elder County.
Okay. Very good. All right, so I do know, because Taylor and we spend a lot of time together. We do open houses together, and we go door knocking. Anyway, we spend a lot of time together. So one thing that you were telling me about the other day that I'm excited to learn more about, that I don't know that much, you just got your certification in being a certified mortgage advisor. Did I get that right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, so what does that mean, and how does that help clients? Like, what does that do for people?
Sure. So there were quite a few different aspects of the course that I went through. I'll go over a couple. So one of them was being able to watch the markets and see when interest rates will go up and when they will go down. So trying to time that the best way possible for our clients to get the best interest rate. So for example, if the market's going to go up, we want to lock in your interest rate as soon as possible. Whereas if there's possibility that it's going to go down, we may want to start on your loan still, but we will do what we call float your interest rate. And when we see a good time to lock it in, that's when we would lock it in for you.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that I learned. Another one is just looking at people's situations and helping them determine what interest rate to get. because we have a whole rate sheet available to us. We can choose any interest rate, but any of those rates are going to come with either a cost or a credit. So if we have a lower interest rate, it's going to come with a cost. If we have a higher interest rate, it comes with a credit towards our closing costs. And it's important to choose the best rate for your situation. So if you're only going to be in the house for a year, you may not want to pay $2,000 extra in closing costs to buy down the interest rate, because the benefit to that is not going to be paid off in the amount of time that you're in the home. So that's another thing, but a lot of it's just planning. It's making sure that this mortgage is a right fit for you, for how long you're going to be in the house, and for your current finances, and those kinds of things. The guy who actually created this certification, his name is Barry Habib, and he's basically the mortgage god. I love listening to him and following his information. He's very good at predicting where rates will go, and it was incredible to learn from him. I've actually heard him speak in person as well, and every time I see him, I'm just riveted to what he has to say.
That's so cool. That's another reason you guys are seeing that I enjoy working with you, is that he knows his craft, right? You've dug deep into what your craft is and you've learned it, but he has a natural propensity to the numbers side of things. And so working together with someone that has, your craft, I know my craft, I can help you get a good deal on the house. I can know which houses are good, solid homes to buy, and we couple that together.
Exactly.
and make it work best for our clients. So that's exciting. So I love that about you. Tell me this, when you are talking to, and I kind of know this answer, but when someone is thinking about buying a home, when is the best time to call you? They've started shopping before? When do they call a lender?
I would say that even if you know a year ahead of time, let's call and have a conversation at least, and get you prepared so that in the 1 year later we can be in the best possible situation. Some people will have questions on, should I pay down my debts? Is that going to help me, or should I save for down payment? And we can go over that with the different situations. One thing that I really stress, though, is that people talk to a lender before they start really looking at houses. Yep. Because a lot of times people will search for a home that's way out of their means, and then they get pre-approved down here, but their hopes are kind of crushed a little bit. Whereas had they just started looking down here, it would have been better on the emotional roller coaster side.
Yeah. And there are two things that you touched on there too. You guys are able to do similar to a credit restore company, but you do it for free, right? Yeah. If someone calls you and says, what do I do with my credit? Well, you guys can help navigate that. Yep. and help that remedy, which could increase their limit of what they could buy.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So I do enjoy that as well.
In a lot of situations, we can help people with credit. Some of them we do still have to send to like a credit help company, but we have really good ones here in Utah that we can help them with.
That are reliable and reputable,
yeah. Yep,
as opposed to just somebody who's fly by the night trying to take your money.
Yeah, we want to send our people to others that we know will not just take their money, like you said, or just try and take advantage of them. So we have one specific company, at least here in southern Utah, that they're fantastic. And they let us know, they keep us in the loop of what's happening and when you'll be ready as well.
That's great. Very good. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. I hope you guys got as much out of this with Taylor, Independent Mortgage. I hope you guys know him. Look in the description below and make sure you get his contact information. Reach out. Like he said, it's never too early to start talking to a lender. That's one of the first steps that we have to do, is get you into a lender anyway. Without that pre-approval letter that he can provide, we cannot put in an offer. Sellers won't even look at offers. We've talked about that before too, that in order to get into a home, you need to have that pre-approval letter. So it's never too early.
Yes.
Right? But it's
absolutely.
also never too late. So we can work through it either way. You have done challenging things. I've seen you jump through hoops, but I've also seen him be incredibly honest and say, hey, we don't have a good fit for you, and here's another route to go. So I do know that he's going to do what's best for my clients, and that's why you're my preferred lender. So check him out below, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
You guys too.
See ya.